I am very grateful to be with all of you this evening. Special gratitude to Narayan Ji for opening the doors of his home to all of us. The greatest pleasure for one who goes deep into the true meaning of life. The greatest pleasure is to serve. Seva. This is a Sanskrit word. It doesn't mean just to serve. There's a beautiful verse in Srimad Bhagavat. Savai pungshang paro dharmo yato bhaktir mokshite ahoitiki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. The supreme dharma, the supreme religion, occupation, spiritual path is that which brings us to the state of loving service to the Supreme Lord. Such service, offered with love, must be unmotivated by any selfishness or egoism and uninterrupted by any condition that may come before us, be it fear or temptation, success or failure, honor or dishonor, pleasure or pain, health or disease. When our will to serve is unconditional, then only can it truly satisfy the self. Anandamayo Vyashat. Every living being is seeking pleasure. The pleasure we all seek is that unconditional love that is within all of us. The Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhakta prayachiti. That in this world, this realization, this gift, is accessible and available to everyone. It doesn't matter whether we're educated or uneducated, rich or poor, whether we're black or white or red or yellow or brown or any other colors, whether we're man or woman, girl or boy, whether we're Hindu or Muslim or Jew or Christian or Sikh or Zoroastrian or agnostic. What matters is to understand who we really are. We are eternal souls, the living force within the body. And we're all part of God. And our greatest potential is to love God, because when that love of God is awakened within the heart, it manifests as love and compassion to every living being. Krishna tells in the Gita that even if one offers to me a fruit, a flower, or a little water, or even a leaf, if it is offered with devotion, I will accept it. Devotion means for the pleasure of the beloved, without selfish interests. That is the meaning of seva. To serve with love. To serve with true, unselfish compassion. There are so many beautiful stories. One boatman His name was Kevat. This boatman, he offered Ram, "Do you need a ride across the river?" And Ram said, "Yes. Will you take me?" Kevat said, "I cannot take you." Ram said, "Why?" He said, "Because I heard a story about you, Ram. I heard how you were traveling with Vishwamitra Muni on the way to Mithila, where you married Sita. And just in the outskirts of that great kingdom, you put your foot on a piece of stone. And because of the power of the dust on your feet, that stone turned into a beautiful woman." The story was that this beautiful lady named Ahalya was cursed because she did something really bad, actually. She was cursed to become a stone by Gautam Rishi. But that curse was actually a blessing, because he told her that in the future Rama is going to put his foot on you. And the sanctity of the dust of his feet will purify you of all of your material attachments, all of your material ego, and you will become a perfect, pure, liberated saint. And you will come back to your original form. The boatman, simple boatman. He had no education. All he knew how to do was row a boat. In those days, they didn't have motorboats that polluted the atmosphere and made noise. He would just row. He said, "I have a wife. I have children. I have a little house. And the only way I have to financially maintain my whole family is this boat. And I only have one boat. If you put your foot on this boat and the dust makes this boat into a woman, then two things happen. One is I have no way to make a living because I have no boat anymore. And two is I have another wife that I have to maintain to double my expenses." "But my Lord, if you allow me to wash your feet so that all the dust is taken off of it, then I can take you on." His actual motive is he wanted to wash the Lord's feet. And he took the water, and Ram said, "Well, if that's the only way I could get across the river, then wash my feet." So he washed the feet of Lord Ram, not only with the water of the Ganges, but washing the feet of the Lord is considered a very humble expression of our love. To perform such a menial, simple service as washing somebody's feet is really humbling oneself before the Lord. It's actually symbolic of surrendering our heart. So he washed Ram's feet with his tears, mixed with the tears of his love, mixed with the water of the Ganges. And it mixed with the dust of Ram's feet. And he collected all of it in a little clay pot. And he brought his family over. And he gave that water for them to drink. He sprinkled it on their heads, and then he drank it himself and sprinkled it on his heads. He was weeping in ecstasy. He said, "Now, my Lord, I will take." he was rowing. And he was rowing with so much love. You see, bhakti, our body, our mind, our words, our very lives, we can offer in devotion. It's like my dear, lifelong, beloved friend Gary. I often cite this example of when he asked me, how could we still be friends? I'm a physical fitness, what do they call it?
Walla.
He's a physical fitness trainer. And his job is to convince people if they have healthy, beautiful, strong bodies, they'll be happy. And he said, and your business as a Swami is to tell people that they're not their body. So what do we have in common? It's like quoted my beloved Guru Srila Prabhupada, the body is a temple. So you teach people how to keep their temples really good, and I'll try to tell them what to do inside their temple. So this body is a sacred instrument. Kevat, every time he was rowing the boat, he was expressing his love for the Lord. And in the same way, through our words, through our actions, we have the opportunity to utilize everything to show our love for the Lord and compassion for others. That is bhakti. So he was rowing the boat. And Ram, Lakshman, and Sita, they were feeling so indebted. This is one of the sweet principles of bhakti. That the Lord is conquered by the love of the devotee. And the devotee is conquered by the love of the Lord. In Vrindavan, when the gopis, when they would just churn the butter for Krishna, Krishna would be so hungry for the love that they put into that butter that he would sneak into their house and steal it when he was just a little boy, Makan Chor. He was conquered by the love that they put into their butter. And they were conquered by him. That's why they made the butter. And the gopis, when they left to come into the moonlit night of Vrindavan on bank of Yamuna, to offer their hearts to Krishna, Krishna said, even in the entire span of time of creation, with all that I have, I can never repay you for your love. In Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, Krishna is the proprietor of everything that exists. Krishna is conquered by the love of his devotees, and the devotees are conquered by the love of Krishna. In this world, because of the false ego, people want to conquer others. Yes? One team wants to defeat the other team. Whether it's basketball or baseball or football, or where I'm from, cricket. You see, everything's relative. In India, people never heard of baseball, and they couldn't care less about football. It's cricket. In America, what we hear in the background, hear that? It's the only cricket we know about. So, in this material world, we want to conquer. But on the spiritual perfection is to be conquered. Krishna his greatest aim is to be conquered by the love of his devotee. And the devotees simply want to be conquered by the love of Krishna. And even amongst each other, the Vaikuntha consciousness is there's no envy. Because no one's trying to defeat each other. We're all happy to be defeated by the affection and the love of each other. That is the spiritual level of consciousness. So as they were on this boat, Sita looked at Ram and said, we have to pay this poor boatman something because he's taking us across the river. The only thing of value any of the three of them had, really, is Sita had a ring. She took off her ring and she gave it to Ram and said, please give this to Kevat the boatman. And Ram said, we want to give you our payment for carrying us across the river. Here is the ring. It's a jeweled ring. Kevat said, I cannot take it. Why you cannot take it? You're so poor. This will make you rich. He said, no, I cannot take it. Because there is a tradition that among boatmen, one boatman will never take payment from another boatman. And because you're a boatman, I cannot take any payment from you. Ram said, what do you mean? I'm a kshatriya. I'm a prince. I'm not a boatman. He said, no, you are a boatman. Well, how am I a boatman? He said, my job as a boatman is taking people across this river Ganges. But you, my Lord, anyone who just approaches you with sincere and humble devotion, you as a boatman, take them across the ocean of birth and death. You take people across the river of illusion and bring them to the eternal abode of love, peace, your own abode. And Sita, with tears in her eyes, conquered by the love of this little boatman, she put the ring back on her finger. And Ram told Kevat, today I award you the supreme liberation, the highest perfection of Prema Bhakti, ecstatic love for God. What did he do? He just did what any boatman does, with love and devotion for the Lord. In Krishna's Leela, one time this lady from the jungle, she hardly was wearing anything. She wasn't living in a city or a town or a village. She was literally a dweller of the jungle. So obviously she was totally uneducated. She had no mannerisms or culture or tradition that people in the civilized world respect. Just an uneducated, simple lady living in the jungles. And she came to Gokul with a basket of fruit that she picked. And she cried out, if anyone wants to buy fruit, I have fruit. Please give me your money. Now, little Krishna was just a grains with his tiny little baby hand. He filled his hand with grains. He was so enthusiastic. He was all alone. He went running to this fruit vendor. He was running and running and running, and he was smiling. I'm going to get fruit. I'm going to get fruit. And as he was running, the grains were falling from his hands and falling, slipping from between his tiny little lotus bud fingers and little twigs. And when he finally came to her, he said, here, give me fruit. Little baby Krishna There was only like one or two tiny little grains left in his hands, and even those fell out. She looked at him. He had beautiful, beautiful complexion like a blue lotus flower, and lovely lotus-like eyes, and a smile which was radiant like the sun was shining upon her. And she fell in love. She said, "My child." She didn't know he was God. She just thought he was a little boy. She loved him. She loved him more fruit, until practically all the fruit of her basket the little baby was holding. And he ran away. And she felt so much ecstasy, giving everything she had. Practically her whole life savings was in that basket, and she just gave it all away. And what did she get in return? Maybe one little grain that had fallen to the ground. But she felt happiness. Real happiness is not in taking. Real happiness is in giving. And the perfection of happiness is giving in love. And the ultimate perfection of happiness is giving in love for God, for Krishna, the all-attractive, Ram, the reservoir of all pleasure. She didn't want anything in return. She just wanted to make Krishna happy. And Krishna was happy. And then she turned and she looked at her basket. It was overflooding with diamonds, emeralds, rubies, pearls, lapis, precious jewels. But you know something? She didn't care anything for any of those jewels, because she had achieved something unlimitedly greater. She had achieved the Purushartha Shiromani, the crest jewel of all goals in life. Prema Pumarta Mahan. Prema. Ecstatic love. Her heart, the basket of her heart, was overflooding with the jewels of the ecstasies of love. And those jewels, that love, when it awakens in the heart, it is imperishable. Nahanyate hanyamane sarire. It is eternal, beyond birth, beyond death. Once we taste the sweetness of the love within our heart, once Krishna reveals that love to us, it can never be taken away. It is ever increasing. It's our deepest potential. It's our true nature. Anandam buddhivardhanam, and it's what we're always seeking. Just 500 years ago, Lord Chaitanya, he is Krishna himself, Ram himself, who came to this world to distribute this love to everyone and anyone. Whether you're a boatman or a forest-dwelling fruit seller, or whether you are a CEO of an international corporation, or a professor, or a farmer, housewife, student, physical trainer, California, what should I say, a software engineer, a yoga teacher, a surfer, or a Swami. Whatever we may be. if we just open our hearts to receive this love, to tune in to the divinity, to the grace that awakens it, we can all experience that. And Lord Chaitanya taught that this chanting of the holy names of the Lord, this kirtan, is the simplest and most profound method of accessing that love, both within us and having the awakening of the capacity to perceive the object of our love, Krishna, everywhere and in everything. Once somebody asked my beloved spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, how do we see God everywhere? And Srila Prabhupada pointed toward his eyeglasses. Now I'm going to tell a little story I like to tell about eyeglasses, and then I'm going to get back to the story of my Guru's eyeglasses. One time I was giving a lecture to about 5,000 people, and I had to read from some scripture, and the light was very dim, and it was night, and I asked someone to bring my glasses, and they brought me a glass of water. I said, no, not this glass. I want my glasses. So then they brought me 2 more glasses. I said, no, bring my glasses. And they said, well, these are glasses. And I said, for reading, for drinking. He says, oh, those are not glasses, those are spectacles. So since then, I use the word spectacles. But if I'm in America, then I say, please bring my spectacles. They walk away and don't come back. Because they don't know what it means. They just walk away bewildered. So Srila Prabhupada said, when you look at my spectacles, what do you think? And my dear godbrother said, when I see these spectacles, I think of you, Prabhupada. And he said, and what happens when you think of me? He says, and my heart fills with love for you and gratitude for you. Because they're yours. Krishna says in Gita, Sarvalokam Ishwaram, that everything in the entire creation, now all material and spiritual worlds, everything is mine, everything is coming from me. So for a devotee, whatever we see, it reminds us of Krishna because we know it belongs to Krishna. And how does that feeling of love actually awaken? When we use something for Krishna, whatever it is. This microphone, we see it, we want to use it for Krishna, to offer it to God with love. And what's the greatest way we can offer something to God with love? To uplift people's consciousness, to see that every living being is a part of God, and to want to give real happiness to others. Patram pushpam palam toyam yome bhakti prayashtati. Because the Lord sees the intent, the purpose of whatever we say and whatever we do. And whoever we are, kings or boatmen, or boat ladies, whatever it may be, we all have the opportunity at every moment to perfect our yoga through love. Thank you very much. So Lord Chaitanya taught us that this kirtan awakens this consciousness within us. That's the true gift of kirtan. It's fun, it's musical, it's pleasing, but ultimately it awakens the divinity, the truth that is within us. So we will have one more kirtan. Radhe Jai Radhe Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Sri Radhe Jai Radhe 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 Jai Radhe Jai Sri Radhe Shama Gauri Nitya Kishori Rita Machari Sri Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Sri Radhe Jai Radhe Rasika Rasilo Chaila Chabilo Unakara Bilo Sri Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Krishna Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Sri Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Krishna Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Sri Krishna Prana Piyari Rupa Uchari Ati Sukumari Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Sri Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Sri Radhe Haram Mahamokara Sundara Bhakara Sri Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Krishna Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Sri Rasa Biharini Rasa Vistarini Priya Uradharini Sri Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Radhe Gaurangi Navala Trivangi Shama Surangi Sri Krishna Jai Krishna Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Sri Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Krishna Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Sri Krishna Radha Namani Guna Abhiramani Hari Priya Swami Sri Radhe Hari Priya Swami Sri Radhe Hari Priya Swami Sri Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Sri Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Sri Radhe Hari 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 Sri Krishna Hari 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 Jai Krishna Jai Krishna Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Sri Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Krishna Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Sri Krishna Radhe 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 Sri Radhe 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 Sri Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Sri Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Sri Radhe Jai Krishna Jai Krishna Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Sri Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Krishna Krishna Jai Krishna Jai Sri Krishna Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Sri Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Radhe Radhe Jai Radhe Jai Sri Radhe Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So I've often heard it say in Los Angeles, Nivedanam tu smartadyam sarvata tadrashera janehi. You hear this all the time. Sarveshwarasya sarvatma nije chata karishyati sarvesham prabhu sambandho na pratyekamati stiti ato anyavini yogyepi chinta kasvasya sopache. It's amazing that we're sitting here this beautiful evening with Sri Radhanath Swami Maharaj, where he the auspicious hosting of Narayan Maharaj at the Narayan Mandir. Right? The Mandir is where our mana, our minds and our hearts, they become dhira, they become strong, and they become nourished and fortified, and that's what this is about. And so the Nivedanam, which is really, the reason why we attend things, we can extract ourselves from the sort of normal time flow that we seem to exist in, many of us, so that we can remember kind of the nature of our own, what is called Atma, or soul. And that is best recognized and remembered in the company of other people who are trying to do the same thing. Right? And that's why the Nivedanam, which is really the end of all yogic practice anyway, all this jumping around and meditating is in the end so that you can realize that your Atma is really at one with everything else, and therefore there is nothing else to do but to just surrender it back to where it already belongs. And so in the process of the Navada Bhakti, or ninefold Bhakti, the Atma Nivedana, the Nivedan, the dedication of not only soul, but let's do everything, like your BMW, really, and your house, and your daughter, and your wife, or spouse, daughter, your home, your putra, your children, your bank accounts, whatever you think you will attain in some other realm or everything else, everything is Atmana Saha, everything along with Atma is dedicated. And that dedication, as I mentioned, when it is in the company of other people who are on the same page, for some reason it's just easier, just like I guess people at sporting events, they get more excited when they're with a crowd of people, rooting for the same team. So here, if we're rooting for the same thing here, and the thing that we are rooting for as a group, and the kirtan is a bit more sophisticated than rooting. It's kirtan. It's sung in raga with classical, tabla, and we've got, we spend a lot of time, investigating this stuff. Everyone here. As a matter of fact, it's in the end, when you think about it, it's the only thing that we've ever really investigated, although at times it appears like we're investigating other things. But that is just because we're on the way, we are in process. And so as we progress to be with other individuals who are on the path, it's not competitive, that's the main thing. No one's really trying to get there first, especially in the Bhakti tradition. Really, if you get there first, put in a good word for me. Really, that's what I would say. I'm not going to push myself ahead in this line here, because that actually it doesn't work. That's why I don't do it. If I thought that pushing ahead would actually get me to the front of the line, then maybe I would try it. But pushing ahead here is, really because it's Atma Nivedan, because it's the dedication of soul. So that order has already been, in some ways, established through the intensity of your integrity, really, to prioritize things, so that in the end, so that we enter into the party of Hari, where everything else is simply forgotten because it doesn't taste as good. And that's what it is. And so there's never any negativity towards anything. There's just appreciation that arises continually from all sides. So towards that, we sing, and that's really why we get together to sing, because it's just more fun to sing with a group. The names of Hari. I've been having a great time staying here in Los Angeles, by the way. Seems like I have been here for a couple of years now. Really, we just arrived yesterday. But it's great. We're just hanging. It's really just the three of us here. It's Narayan, Radhanath, and myself. And it's very nice. But then it's great to also have everyone else here, too, because it just seems to be a continuation of that amazing bhav that arises in the company of those exalted ones. Mahatam Kripayat Bhagavan Daya Yisyati. It's a very famous shloka. Mahatam, it is through the greatness of the great ones. Matam Kripayat, through the greatness, through the grace of the great ones, Bhagavan Dayayasyati, Bhagavan, who we're all looking for, becomes kind. And so, Bajave Murali Madhura Bala